dressing. I had two cancer surgeries 2 weeks ago as of Wednesday. And they put these gigantic pads on, put pressure on the skin so it bonds with the old skin underneath. So one more to go. Medicare only allows him to do 2 at a time. Such is the state of medicine in America. You know something? More and more recently, I feel it. When I practice that first meditation in the morning, I go very deep in where thoughts stop. And the world means nothing. And I'm blissfully happy. Like now. Nothing shakes this happiness. Of course, it only took 51 years of practicing meditation to get there. But it wouldn't have to take that long if you know what you're doing. I never knew what I was doing. I just charged ahead. Today, I'm going to do something different. I've been threatening to lay some new doctrine down on you and to change way Satsangs work or whatever. But you may have noticed that my teachings have been a watered down version of Robert Adams' teachings and Ramana's teachings. They both teach that the world is not real. It does not exist. You do not exist. The appearance of the world is just an appearance. And you are existing before that appearance was ever mentioned. You are prior to consciousness. You feel all that consciousness is to you. And within it, the more you practice, the happier you'll get. Consciousness is not really you. You're something else altogether. The closest you can get is to get lost in your own experience of yourself. For me, now, the self is a very dynamic energy body. It comes and goes from within my own. When I talk about it, it exists for a moment that I'm talking about it. But it's really sort of hard to reach this place of total, unrelenting happiness. When I first felt this, perhaps 3 or 4 years ago, and it grew. I got happier and happier. And my connection with physical reality seemed to have suffered. I can fully understand now why or how Ramana can sit in meditation in the basement of the place he was living until he got stuck to the floor by animal bites and other kinds of things, holding him, gluing him to the floor. The feeling of joy is so very, very powerful. And you want everybody else to be able to feel that joy that you feel. And I think to a certain extent, the teachers that feel this way do engender some likeness of this state sometimes during their satsangs. But I feel very empty now, like there's no breath in this body. There are no thoughts. I mean, I'm creating them in order to talk to you, but there's no random thoughts running through my mind. I feel hollow like a drum, but at the same time, I feel like a huge tire at 100 pounds pressure. And the pressure is wonderful. It caresses my heart and my body in a way that makes me feel very powerful. And that power is needed when you do long meditation sittings because they're so unusual in the forces it puts on your body and the energy fields you feel inside of yourself, that it should be taken easily and slowly. Otherwise, you could sustain a really deep blow to the sense of you who is the controller of you. Now, I never felt this ecstasy when I was with Robert in the early 90s. This is a new phenomena. Well, it's not that new, it's 3 or 4 years old. But when I feel inside, it's like looking downwards into deep green waters that are very still. At the same time, my body expands. So now it feels like I'm about 5 times bigger than normal. And I'm happy. Happy. I wish I knew how simple it was to get to this place. I would have been teaching this way 10 or 15 years ago. So, what I'm trying to do is give you happiness. And that's done through investigating your own self. Now, your own self is found inside of you. So, you have to turn your attention around from looking outside, feeling outside, to looking within and feeling within. You'll have hundreds and hundreds of experiences throughout your meditation career, each one sort of boosting you to get going and to allow you the energy to go further. But after these experiences happen to you a number of times, you integrate them into your own sense of self because you really know how powerful you are. Muktananda used to have this power. And if you watch his old satsangs, he's exquisite. He's laughing, telling jokes, and the people around him are trying to get his attention. Because they want what he has. And I hope you want what I'm talking about, which is to turn your attention around inside. Imaginatively, of course, at first. You just imagine you're turning your eyeballs inwards to the third eye, upwards and inwards. After a while, you relax that to just having your eyes closed and looking upwards, not necessarily to that place an inch above your eyes and an inch in, because it really hurts after a while to keep your eyes focused on that point when it's really not necessary. What is necessary is to be able to perceive the emptiness that you're sitting in. And that emptiness is like the space inside of a large cathedral. It can command an audience, and it can supply the most brilliant spiritual music and talks in silence imaginable. There's nothing I've done in my life before this that has meant more to me than the constant happiness I feel with you in satsang and also in everyday life. I don't get out much because I don't want to get out much. And during the summer, it's really hard on me to go outside because it'd be 115 or 120. Oh, I forgot to talk about this. They're silly looking, I know. They're called cabbages, the way they wrap the wounds. And what they did is took skin from my arm, cut out the cancer, and replaced it from skin on my arm. This is the second and third cancer I've had removed there. There's one more, but I'm not going to rush into it because it's very small. But it's beginning to show a pattern. That's because I'm a blonde little boy. And blondes burn easily in the sun. And I did that a lot when I was a kid, had sunburns. I didn't know any better, nor did I know enough to count the amount of time I was in the sun before getting out of the sun. When you're 10 years old, you don't know shit. When you're 60 years old, you still don't know shit. But you think you know shit because everybody's trying to sell you shit. All the preachers out there, all the teachers out there selling their wares of self-awareness or of some yogic power or developing samadhi power. And it's right there within you. If only you're attuned to feel it. And that takes just repetition of sitting in silence and being sensitive to what's inside yourself, and to turn your eye and vision inwards to an inner field that's not visible to anybody else. And that's your life. It involves feeling the body and feeling your energy body. And there are other kinds of bodies too. But for the teaching's purposes, I'll simplify that a little because I don't really understand a lot of this stuff. When Robert was teaching it in the early 90s, when he said, "You don't exist. You're not real. The world is not real." People would just start laughing. They'd never heard anything so funny. Or someone else tell them that they didn't exist. But I didn't know myself then the way I know myself now, which is fully immersed in my own inner bodies, the subtle body and the other bodies. And the feeling of completion that such sitting allows. Because the bliss itself is so powerful. It's making a talk for Robert by giving me what he had and what you will have if you don't already have it now, if you stick around. But it's not a fast process. So many people get stalled in the first 5 years. And if they continue with the watered down version of Vedanta. not the place that says you don't exist. Your world is an illusion. You don't exist. And when you can take that and turn that into a reactive experience, you'll be blown away by the energies and the understanding. For example, now, in the morning or evening when I'm sitting, the television may be on. The cat may be sitting next to me, Rada. She likes to do that. Karima may be watching a program she likes or whatever I like. And there's a coziness in this intimacy we all share during this period of time. We share the energies of our beingness with each other. Mostly we don't feel it in ourselves because we haven't felt it around others either. And if we do, it may not be a regular thing. It may be something that happens once in a while. But when it happens constantly, and this is in your constant state of being happy, you are in a very different world than you were before. I'm in a very different world than I was when I was 15 or 20 or 30, 40. Because I don't care anymore what happens. I don't care for further or deeper enlightenment. I don't care if there are unfathomed texts in Sanskrit or other languages that I haven't read and practiced. I don't care that there are many meditation practices I no longer do. And the reason I don't care is I'm fucking happy. Happy, happy, happy. Out of my mind, happy. And this has been going on. At first, one or 2 days a week. It was happening even before that because I remember being out in the golf course when we were in Northridge. That was about 10 years ago. I first started getting these states of immense power. We all are like this. Immense caverns filled with exotic energies that sweep us off the feet. And all we can do is listen to them, feel them, smell them if they have the smell, and enjoy them. Can't really share them with others because they don't have the experiences you had based on your spiritual training for many, many years. I suspect that some of you do have a similar experience. And that's good for you. Just keep it up. And we'll do it together in satsang. Feel the power of your own self. You are not consciousness. You're the observer of consciousness. In the consciousness, you can feel your body. You can experience your mind. You can experience all kinds of physiological things with your body. You can feel energies rising up through your body and outwards toward your hands, and then up straight through the spine to the top of the head, and then over and down, flowing into your heart. I feel these still sometimes, but I don't need them anymore because I'm happy. And when you're happy, what more is there to do? Make myself unhappy so I can get happy again? Or can I talk to you about my happiness and say it's there for you too? It's not something magic. It's not something hidden. It's something ignored in you if you don't feel it. And you have to learn how to meditate and turn your attention inwards towards yourself and the self you feel you are in meditation, including growing vastly in size. Do you feel you fill the whole zendo? And everything in the zendo is happening inside of you, of your senses. Where you don't fear silence anymore. It's not going to kill you. It's going to worship you. In this state, it's hard not to worship your own self. Because you feel the lingering presences of all the gurus that have gone before you, such as Muktananda or Robert or many, many of the other ones. And to feel ecstatic bliss is not something rare, but it's felt all the time. And when I feel it, when I'm lying down, my body will get longer and sort of stretch out. And then I'll look and feel within and find this joy in there waiting for me to look at it and for it. Are there any questions? Robert called this Stump the Guru time.
I have a question if you are willing, Edgy. That's
Sure.
cool. I hope you get a kick out of this. What is it in me that needs to be stripped from me so I can feel open and loving towards my guru? That's my question.
You have not perceived yourself yet. You are still operating on the level of being human with everyday cares and concerns and going to find a job or do a good job or become famous and so forth. You're still acting out the, what would you call it, the karma of being a normal human body that's doing the normal human things, but not the normal internal things that a spiritual giant uses, which is to go within and just concentrate on finding your own sense of self within and then staying there day after day, even when it doesn't matter. I don't mean you have to do it like every day for like these you read about, but more and more because you do it not, I did it to gain enlightenment, but now I do it because these energies make me happy and the feelings make me happy too. So I was practicing beforehand on what I experience now and opening myself to it. And by being open to it, I'm able to express it to you.
And if I may follow up, just the act of sitting in silence and the act of surrendering to the true self will eventually lead to, I'm not sure what to call it, but the total dissolution of that human component. Is that correct?
More or less, yes. But the dissolution really never dissolves your ability to function in the world. It did Ramana and others for a period of time, but you learn to have two different worlds coexist in yourself. The ordinary world of the ordinary person and the spiritual world of an exploded spirituality that spreads throughout the universe. And you're both at the same time. The difference is you've been able to discover that larger entity that you are, which appears to be consciousness itself, but it's not really consciousness. You pre-exist everything. You pre-exist the beginning of the universe, and you pre-exist all of your human experiences till now. So, what was your question again? If I could narrow it down, I blabbed too big.
No, that you answered it perfectly. But the initial question was more or less stolen directly from your book, sir, and it's a wonderful question. It's a wonderful answer. The question is, what is it that needs to be stripped from me in order for me to be able to be more open and loving towards my guru?
Yeah,
And you answered that.
yeah, but seen from that point of view, you can't look inside yourself and find something you're prejudiced against and remove it from your innards in order to feel happiness. It's the happiness itself that opens you to everything. So it's not finding what needs to be removed. It's just sitting in silence, happy as a fucking lark.
That is absolutely beautiful advice, and I intend to follow it every minute that I can. Um,
What state do you live in?
I'm in California, in Southern California,
Los Angeles?
closer to Anaheim. I'm here taking care of an elderly relative, helping somebody out, and I'm using that time when I'm not there to find the self as much as I can.
Okay. How do you do that?
Literally by sitting in silence as much as possible. I wake up, I uh, say a couple chants, and I generally tend to just go within and I seek. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's similar to what Michael Langford describes as awareness watching awareness. I try to seek what is perceiving the senses,
Yep,
and I
that's
try to
very
stay
good.
there. Yeah,
It's a good practice. It's more or less what I did.
that's good. I have a third question, which is it's going to seem a little abstract, so I don't really mind any outcome or any answer. But Edgy, how do you perceive the one?
I don't know what that means.
How do you perceive the greater consciousness that we all are? How would you just describe it if you had to put it in a travel brochure?
I think I've been doing nothing but that for the last 25 minutes or so. I don't know how I could make it any clearer than what I've been trying to do. It's, you see, getting to the deeper spiritual realms is something that can take a long, long time. And when it comes, you almost don't recognize it because you've been gradually growing that way in your everyday life anyway. And when the reality comes there of the totality of you as the observer of consciousness, and you see the largeness of the consciousness states that you're perceiving within, that's when you know that you've got it and you won't lose it. Does that make sense?
It does to me very much. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Okay, let's sit for a few minutes. Mhm.
Mark, can you hear me? Yeah, I was about 50 minutes late, but so far this is about the most exquisite satsang I've ever attended. Did Edgy attend?
No, I didn't.
Hi. I never know how my computer's wired, so if I can hear you and you can hear me, that's that's kind of cool. But yeah, just I just thought I'd interrupt and tell you guys that just being here is bliss. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you, Edgy. I love you. You know that.
I love you too. Look for that canyon where your soul is bound to your flesh, and then dive within that empty expansion that you find there. And when you dive in it, just dive in to meet your fate. You don't know what's going to happen. You've heard the stories. You wonder it's the same kind of feeling Robert had, etc. But it's worth just losing yourself to go and get close enough to feel this feeling of being beckoned by powers far outside of your understanding. Try to be happy over the next week. And when you come with the idea you're going to experience something, possibly that you've never known before. Set the expectation high. You may be disappointed, but turning your expectation up increases your chance of feeling it. You, without your mind and your old understanding, just standing alone in God's current. Bye-bye.